Dr. Leyland. Step into the future, the world is waiting now. Dreams are in the making, we'll show you how. From the books to the screen, from the stage to the stars. Level up your game, let's raise the bar. Innovation, inspiration, it's in our DNA. Breaking through the limits, we're paving the way. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Empowered in your passion, your voice will be heard. Building a legacy with every word. From podcasts to pages, from business to art. Level Up's the place where it all can start. With heart and with vision, we're chasing every goal. Together we'll ignite the fire in your soul. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Oh, we're trailblazing, breaking through the mold. Dreams are alive, let your story unfold. With courage and pride, we'll take the fight. At Level Up, we own the night. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. So let's level up and never look back. On the road to greatness, we're on the right track. Together we'll soar, together we'll thrive. At Level Up Academy, we're alive.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday so far. Today is something that is kind of been in the works. Susanna and I have been doing Unmute by Design for about a month now. Randomly, I'll have people in and out of the conversation. But today we're going to talk about Unmute by Design series, Rising Through the Unknown. So before I go through that series, I will go ahead and always put my sponsors first as well. So here is Rice Coffee. I love Rice Coffee because it's a mushroom coffee. I don't know if you guys have had mushroom coffee. Some people don't like it, but the benefits of drinking mushroom coffee is really good for you. And I think when you're younger, you don't really think about the benefits because you just like randomly drink whatever you want. As you age, you kind of pay attention and be intentional on the health. However, I did notice that the younger generation, like my youngest, is so super into healthy stuff, which I appreciate, right? Because I literally got my gallbladder taken out and I still eat junk food. So she actually puts me in line when it comes to eating and drinking good stuff. She's a matcha queen. Like no one can beat this kid. Like she basically said, I'm gonna put it out there that I'm gonna have an unlimited matcha in my lifetime. And she's so crazy. That's what she wishes for. Anyhow, rice coffee has 6 different mushrooms. It's really good for you. And sometimes when you drink coffee, your tummy hurts. The creamer actually is probiotic, so it's good for your tummy. So it kind of balances all that out. And rice coffee doesn't give you high and low. It actually gives you a steady stream of energy and you don't feel jittery. It has only 48% caffeine, and the rest are coming from mushrooms for antioxidants, for anxiety, for focus, all in one. So that is the reason why I love rice coffee. 50 inspirational connections is still happening towards the end of the month. There's a lot going on in my life right now. I am moving, so there's a lot of changes. And so we are pushing it in all the way. And also making sure that you guys are aware that this is a free service. Here are my ambassadors. And Susanna and I Susanna actually started this 3 years ago and she didn't want to do it. And I literally pushed her. And she's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And she did. And then last year she was an ambassador, and this year she is also an ambassador. And here are my other additional ambassadors for Hounds of Business. All right. And then we have a new anthology. It is called In the Space Between, the Stories We Don't Say Out Loud. And this episode of Level Up Academy podcast were actually the Unmute by Design series, Rising Through the Unknown. Susanna actually pointed it out last night that this is perfect for our anthology. So I'm going to end it at that, okay? Excuse me, I have a little bit of migraine today, so I'm going to put my sister up right away. How are you doing, sis?
Hey, sis.
Are you doing good?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm playing with the LinkedIn. I'm playing with YouTube. I'm just playing around as we get started.
Right. Well, this series actually that I was kind of pointing it out and kind of throwing it out in terms of like the title and what we're feeling is currently, like last night, right? So I think there comes a moment in every life, sometimes whispered, sometimes crashing like thunder, when everything familiar literally disappears, right? The plan you made, the direction you trusted, the certainty you clung to, whew, gone, right? And you're left standing in what I call the gray zone, actually, what we call the gray zone, where nothing is clear, everything feels fragile, and your next step is the one no one can take for you. Right?
No.
This is the space that no one really likes to talk about, too. The space after divorce, after the diagnosis, the job loss, the lack of job, the betrayal, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's in the in between when you're not who you were, but also not yet who you're becoming. You're literally in between. You're like limbo. People like to skip past this part, though. I think they want the glow up, the comeback, the happy ending. But I want to sit right here with you in the fog, in the quiet, in the sacred of not knowing, because this is truth. Rising through the unknown isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting your resilience. And it's really hard when you don't know what's going on. And it's about waking up when the world feels unrecognizable and saying, I may not have all the map in my life, but I got the fire.
Yeah.
It's all about learning to breathe again, build again, believe again, when it would be so much easier to just stay still, stay down, be here, right? So the unknown is not your enemy, it's your invitation, really. It's an invitation to meet the version of you that only chaos could reveal. The rebel, the warrior, the visionary, the one the storm came to awaken. So welcome to Unmute by Design series, Rising to the Unknown conversation, guys. What do you think about that statement, sister?
Oh, as you were talking through that, I went and wrote down basically the unknown is leaving the box. It's that point where you're leaving what is supposedly familiar, what is where you're stuck, and entering the unknown on your way to the next point, Because just like we talk about the upcoming book, which is that period between where you were and where you are, we're always going through this. We're always making changes. And so in this case, it's this, that unknown is in some ways between where we are now. Of course, in many ways, we're in the unknown now. So it's like where we were and where we're going, but the unknown is in the middle. Where we were was a box that we were probably stuck in, couldn't get out of. We've taken the steps out of it, and now we're working our way towards what's next.
Yeah, but we're still in that middle, and no one really talks about the middle, right? Because it's an
No,
early
they
thing.
don't.
I'm thinking living the box. That's kind of like ricing, right?
Uh-huh.
Like ricing through the unknown. Okay, well, okay, so ricing. I'm trying to think of the framework. Like, what can I actually do with R?
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
Okay, we have to reckon with reality, right? You can't rise if you don't know where you're standing. And sometimes you really don't know where you're standing. It's very uncomfortable. So you have to face the discomfort, acknowledge what's uncertain right now with my life, right? What is painful? What is falling apart? Don't sugarcoat anything, because clarity is power. And talk about what feels unknown in your personal or professional life. I think this is part of those self-actualization that Maslow's hierarchy of needs is talking about, is trying to get to know yourself is dirty chaos.
Well, you're trying to come up with something for rise, right?
No, rising. I already start
Rise,
with
okay,
R,
same thing.
which is reckon with reality.
Oh, okay. So you're rising with reality. Otherwise, I was thinking, because it sounded like you were stuck on the R, and it's like realization is also another aspect of that, because you can't start rising until you realize what you need to do.
Yeah. So I call that reckon with reality. Like, you need to figure out what you want, and also what is painful for you right now, right? A lot of times we run away from discomfort because it's not that we're not aware that there's something happening. It's just that it sometimes gets too much, because life is harmony, or yin and yang, right? If the blackness of our life takes over the whiteness of our life, it's overwhelming. And so, if that's the reason why, if you see yin and yang in the Chinese study and symbol, harmony is everything. And people call that balance, but there's really no such thing as balance, because balance means everything is perfect, right? In every sense, but nothing is perfect. So you have to dance with balance through harmony. That's how I would see it. Okay, identify your inner compass, right? When the map burns, your values become the guide, right? When you have thought, this is my life, this is going to be what's happening, but literally the house and everything else burns down, like what are you going to do? You start over, right? What principles do you hold on to when everything else shifts? Think about people who lost their homes in the LA fire. They had nothing anymore. But what do? They rise above that, right?
Mhm.
Who are you without your title? Ask that, right? Your to-do list, your plan. I'm a to-do list girl. Who am I if I don't have a to-do list? Who am I if I don't have my title? I'm still me, right? Lean into the resilience of faith and grit and grace, where whatever guides you. Like, sister, what are your core values that you're like, even if I'm in Timbuktu, I'm still gonna be me?
Oh, I know. I keep playing with that. I have something written down, and it's like I don't memorize this stuff. But I mean, there's stuff there. It's like you want to be truthful, um, to basically to not change. Be true to yourself, not changing, and an honesty. You know, that to me, it's important to stay truthful to yourself and be honest. Yeah, it's like thinking of values, I always have difficulty with a lot of those values questions because there's so many of them. And, you know, with ADHD, it's like, how do you whittle it down?
Yeah, I always my core value is really just hanging on to my moral code and principles, right?
Yeah.
What is my non-negotiable and what is my negotiables? Like you can negotiate someone who have a bad day and get bratty. I can negotiate with that. I can accept that because that's human nature. What I cannot accept is the constant meanness, right? The
Right.
constant berating. Those I cannot. Those are my non-negotiables. So that principles I hang on to. That is my core. I like compassionate people. I like people who you can talk to. Even if you disagree, they don't flare up, right? They don't just take it to the next level because they have nothing else to say. So they flare it up. So I like people who do that. I also like people who are humble and grounded. Like it doesn't matter how much money you have or what your title is. What I'm interested in becoming friends is people who have heart and soul, right? That's my non negotiable. Those are my core. And then also, no matter what you throw at me, I might be down for a count and I will always get up, right? I will always get up because that's human nature. It's not just me, it's you, it's Victor, it's Sister Danielle. Everybody have resilience within their body. It's that fire in your belly that no matter how much chaos is happening in your life or destruction is happening in your life, yeah, you vent because it's good to vent. You complain because it's just human nature. But at the end of the day, you don't stay there. You move up. So those are my inner compass that I love. Okay, S, S, S. Step into the storm. Yeah.
Okay.
Fear is loud. Fear is loud, guys. So step into the storm because when you have the courage, it doesn't just need you to shout out to lead, but it just says, okay, I don't know anything. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even know what tomorrow brings, but I'm going to be here today, right now. Be present, right? Because action doesn't require confidence, only commitment. I'm not confident like to do everything else, but I'm committed to do it. Taking one step, even if you're so unsure, creates motion and momentum like you. You're brand new right now teaching, but you don't know what you don't know, and you're like, I'm sure, but you did it anyway. Because what? As soon as you finish, you create that confidence and the motion and the momentum to keep going, even though half of the time you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but you're doing it, right? This is where rebels are born, sister. You are a rebel with a cause, but not in safety, not in safety, but in the decision to move, right?
Right.
What do you think about your strategy onto doing that? Am I like in the total opposite side or what?
No, I, everything I'm looking at right now between the teaching, everything you said with the teaching is correct. And um, it's always been that way for those kind of things, whether I was giving a presentation, because I've had those situations where I gave a presentation at an international conference, and part of me is like, I have no idea how I even got there, but I happened to be in the country at the time, and it's like who and then suddenly you're speaking and presenting at this international conference, and in the one case it was like in front of everybody that was in attendance there, and so getting through it, some nerves going into it, and once it's done, it's like, okay, I made it, I can do this again. So
yeah, it's that momentum. You just do it. Just do it, guys. If you wanted to do something
Exactly.
and you're so scared, just try it and do it and see what happens. What's gonna happen? So long as you don't die, you survive, you'll be fine. Right? You just be fine. Don't be jumping off the La Jolla Cove and no wings. Okay, that's just not gonna happen for you. I'm just saying. But when you're doing it, give those, one bold step anyone can take when they don't know what's next. Right? For me, if you just do the action, I don't think much because I realize that the more I think, the more I don't want to do. the more I think about certain things, I'm like, okay, now I really don't want to do, because my brain keeps adding a to-do list and it's overwhelming me. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna do it. I just don't. And I get bratty sometimes in my own self, and I'm like, ugh, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And then my subconscious kicks in when I'm doing it. My subconscious already committed to not doing it. So now I'm gonna make crappy work because I've already decided in the back of my head that I'm not doing it. Right. So that's the thing. I don't think much if I have a plan and I want to do something and I don't know what's going to happen here and there. I don't care about perfection. I just do it. Just keep doing it. And that's what I realized when I look at my processes in the last 12 months or more, that I just did it. I didn't think about it. I just like, okay, I plan to do this. One time I said that and I'm like, okay, whatever, let's just do it. And we did. That's it. Right. So after doing that, we illuminate what you learn. That's the I part, right? The unknown becomes less scary actually once you get it. Once you're in there, you're like, oh, what was I scared for? Like you said, you were in front of other people. You didn't know what's going on. You just did it because it was necessary at that moment. But once you're done, you're like, okay, it wasn't that scary. I can do it again, right? You illuminated what you've learned and you're like, hey, I'm going to reflect on it. Obviously, that wasn't 100%, but I did it anyway. And I think that's the problem with our society. People like to judge you and what you're doing. Oh, this could be perfect. Oh, she could have done this better, or he could have done that better. You're not in that seat. You're not in that seat. So how are you supposed to do better? Unless you're in that situation, you can't really talk. There's no room for talking on that one, right? How do you illuminate what you learn, sister?
Part of it's just looking back at the fact that you did something, that it's, you accomplished it. And that illumination is understanding what you did and what you might want to change. Don't look at it as what you did wrong. Look at it as, this is what you did, and if you could do it again, this is what you would change. And then just take that to the next time. And that way you're not focusing on the past. You're not thinking of the negative aspects. You're not thinking of it as wrong. You're just thinking of it as, I would change this, and then make that a part of what you do next. Incorporate the changes. And as you go, even as you're thinking about the changes, you may find that you're going to still change it again between your thought about it and when you actually do it. So it's like from class to class, that's one of those things. I'm thinking about, even like with my history class, I'm thinking about now how to incorporate something new because I just happened to do it in the first class. Now I want to make it, we talked about this yesterday, I want to make it a part of every class, something different that the students aren't going to get. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a part of the learning being examined on what they know about it. It's more of putting something new out there for them to think about, and whoever latches on and it ignites something, great. If it doesn't, that's fine. It never was going to. But you don't worry about that. You don't worry about, I got to take care of all of them. It's like, you do this one thing and then you just see what happens and go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking of my business class. I do story time, right, with cases. I'm like, guys, do you know what glomerization is? Like, no. Tell us, Dr. Leland, what is it? And I'm like, okay. So back in the day, like I literally had storytelling. So every time, and I noticed that each class, and this is a 7:35 p.m. to 10 p.m. class. This is a late class. So I feel like they just come in for story time about military and stuff, and then go to bed thinking about it like, oh, wow, I didn't know about that case study. And so I tell them like, okay, so this is what happened to the case. Da 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 da. And what do you think? Was that fair? What are your thoughts, right? And instead of the students reading and not getting it because they're not excited. When someone else read the case and summarizes it to the point where they can relate, it's all about relatable when it comes to learning. And I like that you have the approach, which I talk always about, continuous learning rather than punishing. Right? When you correct someone, whether you're a teacher, you're a boss, you're a manager, you're a business owner, and you're doing contracts, the way you talk to your people shouldn't be punitive. If you always say, you did this wrong, you could do better. That is the old way of doing it. Now, it's not being like, oh my God, that's so sensitive. No, it's just that we need to better communicate. It has nothing to do with being sensitive, right? We need to better communicate. You can actually give feedback for continuous improvement rather than you did this wrong. Because in life, we are tested every single day. And how can you imagine if you're like, oh, you did this wrong and you don't want to move anymore? You would be stuck in the 1960s, like literally, that
Yeah.
nothing you can do is right. So you cannot do punitive, not for other people, and especially not for yourself. If you didn't do something right, who cares? Keep going anyway, because now you're learning multiple ways of not doing it. I say nurture those new identity. You're not going back because you already learned your mistakes. You're not being, you're being remade right now. Your neurons are plastic, like neuroplasticity is a thing where you learn something. You don't return from the unknown literally unchanged, right? This is your moment to integrate everything literally in your life. Like, what have I learned this? Mike actually is really good at saying, in the last 12 months, I've learned to do this. My discernment is really high radar because I've learned to see people differently. I don't engage in that matter anymore because it doesn't serve me. I just do what I do, and I disengage this way. And I'm proud of you, Mike. Literally. Miguel, if you're still here, I am so proud of you too. Because how amazing are you that you are so grateful from your experiences that are less than, and you're turning your pain into purpose. So thank you for doing that, Miguel. I am very proud of you, brother. Our academic publishing hasn't gone anywhere. It's actually because we submitted it late. That's why I needed those quicker. But I'm hoping, they said Friday, but I asked on Friday and we're still for editing. But one of my friends told me that there's not that much editing for us to do. So as soon as we edit, we are given at least 2 weeks to 3 weeks to edit our paper, and then we can publish right after that. So I'm excited about that. So don't give up, okay? Speaking of giving up, that is the last letter of writing, which is G. Give back with grace. Wait, what?
What was?
Nurture your new identity.
Okay. I'm just like, I'm going through this going, wait a minute. I know we had the S. I think we had the I, and then
illuminate what you learn is the I. Illuminate what you learn. Nurture your new identity. And the last one is giving back with grace. Once you rise, reach back. People says, I don't care if I give back to the community. It's okay. You're not a bad person if you don't want to give back. It's okay. But I guarantee you, I'd say 95% of the whole world wants to give back. Why do you think that America is run, we're capitalist society, is run on small business owners, right? Why? Why do you think that is? Because we want to give back. All the businesses that you see are giving back. Yes, you are paying for the give back, but they're giving back. They're bridging the gap that they think that you need or I need. That's why they started their business, right? Help others navigate their unknown. If you really think about your legacy, it's not like the people are going to remember you or forget you or whatnot. It's the people right now, right? We need to get out of this mentality of, when I'm dead, then they're going to remember me that I did everything on this list, because it's not possible. It's not possible to remember everything that you did. But if you're going to die tomorrow, what is the one big thing that made a huge impact, not only on yourself, but your community? Answer that to yourself. What is the one thing that if you die right now, they'll be like, wow, Dr. Leland did this one thing that's good. Right? That is one thing. So call to action is, how can you support someone in your network who's currently in the fog? Susanna and I are in the fog. We help each other. So, sister, what are your thoughts on that? That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Um, I like that giving back, because it it meets a lot of the things that we're supposed to do. Even if we go back, because we all often talk about the Bible and stuff. So it's like there's that aspect, and then at the same time, when I think that, it's like, yeah, but remember the verse of like, don't let the left hand know what the right hand's doing, kind of deal. So it's like, you're I think that's where we get stuck on don't brag, but we still got to let people know. uh, and then let's see, is that what you want everybody to do? You want me to do that one?
Once I start, I can't shut up. So this is on you. Like, I know you latch on to the last one, which is giving back by grace. But let me ask you this question. Okay. I actually put it in there. It says, tell me about a moment in your life when everything you planned fell apart, right? What did it feel like to stand in the unknown? And I put this because this is for everybody who's still here. I want you guys to answer this as well. But sister, what do you think?
Oh, I can think of a few times where I went into something with the idea of what success was going to be, what I wanted to accomplish out of it, and it didn't happen. It at some point between going into that moment and when that period of time was over, because these were very specific periods of time, something would happen in the middle of them, and then I just felt like everything fell apart, and I fell apart at that point. These were not, unfortunately, for the longest time, I began to believe that I was doomed to screw up in the middle of something. So I was always in that case of being in the unknown. I got to the point where I started blaming myself and just accepting that no matter what I did, I'm going to screw something up. And it became really hard to move forward because of that. And it held me back in a lot of ways. It took moving out of that particular space, out of all these spaces that people were telling me I was supposed to be in, to basically drop the facade that others wanted and to be my authentic self, that I began to change that around. That I could stop thinking about how I was always going to screw something up, and just go through the unknown and see where I ended up. Because sometimes going through that unknown, you can't put a plan. You can have an idea of where you want to be, but sometimes I'm not able to make a plan of from here to there. I just go through it and make adjustments as I go, fire and adjust, as it were. If I go back to the days in the army, it's like fire and adjust. When it came to like the tanks, that's what they're always doing. It's fire and adjust. You fire, you missed, you adjust, and hopefully hit what your target is.
Yeah. I want to talk about, because I think this comes up a lot, bragging versus letting people know, right? Like, where do you find the fine line of, oh gosh, you're bragging versus, oh gosh, you're letting people know? I think I have the test for that. So bragging feels like, look how amazing I am. Clap for me, clap for me. or one-upping others to feel superior. When you're putting people down to make you feel better, that is bragging. Flaunting success with no context or connection, just cause, right? It's driven by ego, not purpose, and drains the room instead of lifting it. Like, just look at me, don't worry about yourself, and don't give people time to talk about what they also want to talk about, right? For me, letting people know is about transparency with purpose. I'm here today because of this of my hardship. And now that I found out how to do it, then let me help you. That to me is more like letting people know, saying, here's what I've done and here's how I can help you. Right?
Yeah.
Sharing receipts. You're literally sharing receipts, not for the applause, but for the impact that it can provide for people. And then owning your own story so others can see what is possible. If she can do it, I can do it. That feeling that is more inspiring rather than pointing fingers, you're lack this and you're lacking this and you're lacking this, you need this. That is more for me. So I think here's my test. Bragging versus building. Only three, guys, only three. The first question should be, does this share uplift, inform, or inspire others? If you're sharing something, does it uplift anyone? Does it inform people? And does it inspire? It doesn't have to be all three, but it would be great if it's all three. That's the first question. Ask yourself when you post. The second thing is there a takeaway or value from your audience? What you're posting, what you're sharing, is there value? Is there a takeaway? And then the last thing is, am I hiding my wins out of fear of judgment or standing in my truth? And sometimes our truth is messy and we like to curate it to be perfect. Yeah. Right? Am I hiding my wins out of fear of judgment? To me, that is definitely more of everyone, really, right? Because we curate what we don't want people to see, and that's okay too. You don't have to divulge every single moment of your life that you're vulnerable and you're doing something that's a weakness. You don't need to do that. To say, oh, I'm building. That's not necessary, but you need to actually ask yourself that. This is more of a self-reflection on number 3. Am I hiding my wins out of fear of judgment that people is going to say I'm bragging? Remember, if you're sharing your wins, okay, don't think about, oh, I'm bragging. Think about those two questions. Are you sharing to uplift, inspiring others, or informing others? That really is the question. And is there value in what you're sharing? Can I actually do that? Can I relate to that? That's really it, the bottom line, right? What do you think, sister?
I'm going to add one other piece to that, and that's if somebody speaks before you and they share something and you share a yeah, this happened to me and this is what happened, I see that as being something to be very careful about, because it can come across as one-upping and then bragging. And you need to make sure that if somebody's done this share, that you're adding to it, not taking over it. Because I've seen too many times, and it becomes too easy where somebody's like, yeah, this happened to me. And sometimes we're like trying to show that we understand it, but it also can come across as trying to one up. It's like, oh yeah, that was bad, but mine was worse. And if it comes across that way, then it doesn't fit your first item, because you're not adding to the conversation. You're taking away from the conversation. You're taking away from somebody else's experience. It's finding that way to be able to say it, but then bring it back to the other person. Even if it's I completely understand that something like that happened to me. So what did you do, kind of deal. You don't have to even say what it was. You can connect with them that way, but make sure that you don't pull the spotlight off of them if it's not supposed to be pulled off of them.
Yeah, that's a good advice as well, because that goes to number one. Really, what you're saying is, am I adding to it? Am I uplifting, people? And
Right.
sometimes I think people don't really think about taking away the room. It's more like they want to relate and they want to share, but unaware that by sharing your experience, you're taking away the value of the other person and what they're trying to say. And it feels like you're one upping them instead of adding value to the conversation. So that is definitely a fine line. Because somebody who's adding to the conversation might think, I'm not bragging, I'm adding, right? So then
Right.
you ask yourself, am I elevating the moment, or are you centering yourself unnecessarily? Does this push the conversation forward, or does this shut down everybody else?
Yeah. Does
Right.
it shift
And
that spotlight to you,
yeah,
and suddenly you're the center of attention when you weren't supposed to be at that moment?
yeah. And I think sometimes it's better, even if you have it in your head that you want to add to the conversation, I think it's better to just be quiet for a moment and just let that person, keep talking. Um, and that's the conversation that I was having the other time when we went live. And I said, sometimes I realize that not everybody needs your advice. Everybody sometimes just vent because for the sake of someone listening to them. So then ask like, hey, do you need help? Right? That's just a first question rather than saying, oh, give your opinion, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe they don't need your opinion. Maybe they don't even need your help. They just wanted to vent and see. If they specifically ask you, hey, CJ, I need your help on this, then you know that it's clearly needing a help. But if they're just calling to vent, they don't need your advice. So I try to follow my own rule, like, hey, if you're going to comment something, if you're going to say something and I'm not really asking, it's more of a critical conversation, then I think I just want to vent, right? So CJ, don't say anything, just unless you're being asked. And so that's what I do now. I don't say anything. I go in the room. I know I know who I am. I know what my capabilities are. I'm not muting myself because of fear. I'm muting myself by design. I'm literally living unmute by design, right? I unmute myself when it's necessary, and I mute myself most of the time because really it's unnecessary. So either way, Miguel, it's not about how things should be. I can observe or experience what before me and see how things can be improved. Miguel, in the last 12 months, I have seen you soar like nobody's business. I just want you to know I am very proud of you. We need to look back again. Um, so my next question, sister, maybe this is my last question for us, really. When you didn't have clarity, what inner compass or value helped you move forward? And for everybody, this is your question too.
Yeah. Um, didn't have clarity in the past. In the past, it really became very difficult um, to move forward. I lost clarity quickly too many times, and then my wheels started to spin. Um, it's only recently that for me I can look at it as, if I don't have that clarity, it's not necessarily an inner compass that's going to help me move forward, because I can have difficulty seeing through everything. Because I can see everything, and sometimes seeing everything puts me on hold because I don't know which direction to go. I see, and that's where, for me, it's being able to have somebody to bounce it off on and say, "What do you think? Um, this is where I'm stuck. I don't see it," and then be able to have somebody who's like, "What do you mean you don't see it? It's so obvious." And then just, here's what it is. And so that, it's not so much that the inner compass is to go ask for help. And the outer compass is asking the right person for help, knowing that they're just going to come back. And it's like, I almost don't care how it is. It could be, what, are you stupid? It's right there in front of you. Here's what it is. It's like, oh, okay, I see it now. I didn't see it then, but I see it now. And just feeling love. I feel love through the whole conversation is like, it's all good.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Jolie, I love this. I like that muting myself by design. Yeah, we've been doing this series of unmuting by design with psychologist framework, with, we always provide value through education. That is what my channel is all about, is to design ourselves of how we want to be. It's easy said than done. So we do a micro strategy each week, whether it's Wednesday or Sunday. Speaking of that, I'm gonna actually only gonna do live twice a week, guys. Wednesday and Sunday. I'm gonna delete Thursday because I'm in the middle of the move, and I will come back probably on Thursday once I'm settled to where I'm gonna be moving. Right now, it's just a lot, but I don't want to lose the Wednesday because this is something that I truly want other people, business owners, leaders, educators to come. And I have already created the platform to elevate everybody. So I'm not going to let that go. I'm just going to keep going, but I will delete one of my live shows. So starting tomorrow, you will not see a Thursday show, but it will be Wednesdays and Sundays. But sometimes I'm on Susanna's show on Tuesday, and sometimes I'm on Wednesday with Mike. So you'll double up and see me. So that is the reason why. So we're just gonna go with that. Now, when it comes to this question for me, when you didn't have clarity, what inner compass or value helped you move forward? Silence. My inner compass is silence, because I don't often get silence at all. Like in my head, because I have ADHD, I have like 1,000 thoughts running through my head. And sometimes the words that comes out of my mouth is not necessarily the thought I'm thinking. That was 5 seconds ago, right? My mouth can't keep up with my brain. So silence, like I literally try so hard to keep my mind silent, to be still, and you know what's funny is water does that for me. Because probably I was born in the Philippines. I don't know. I don't know. I was born in the island. So when I look at water, everything, time, problems, issues, whatever, it stops. And I just look at the water and I look at the wave and I feel like I'm in trance. Like, am I here? Yes, I'm here. Right. But that's why I go to the beach a lot, because it resets my brain. And when I don't have clarity and I'm overwhelmed, I close my eyes. I turn on YouTube if I can go to the beach, and I hear the waves crashing, and I'm like, okay, silence. And I also suffer from migraines, so certain tone irritates me. I even tell that to my daughter. So music helps my mood as well. And I just dance randomly. I'm like, okay, I'm good now. But once I start dancing, there's no more silence.
Oh yeah,
some karaoke in my head. Yeah. So to move forward for me is silence, because then once I can focus, okay, then I can make better decisions. I'm an emotional person. So if you hit my happy mode or my angry mode or whatever mode, I get focused on that for the next 10-15 minutes. But here's the good news with people who have ADHD, at least for me, is when I'm mad at someone, after 5 minutes, I forgot what I was mad at. So you're like, wait, do you want to get coffee? Okay. Like I'm yelling at my daughter, right? Like literally yelling at her in the morning, like, you're so late. And then like while we're driving, do you want Starbucks? She's like, yeah, okay. So we just get Starbucks. Like I don't wallow on my emotions. That's one thing about, I think, having ADHD is like we forgot it felt bad, but like I don't remember, why was I mad again? I don't remember. I'm like, I don't want to remember. Move on, let's go. And Susanna's the same. And I'm like, so what did I say? And you're like, she goes, heck if I know, I didn't have any plot on, so I don't know what we said.
Hey, I didn't record it. Plot's not on. You said it like 5 minutes ago. We had too many other things in the middle of it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, right? I don't know. Oh, Susanna, I like the muting by design. So, Jolie, I think this is your first time here. I definitely, nature fresh air is my reset. Yeah, mine too. I would
Definitely.
love to get to know you and see what unmute by design that you do for yourself, right? As a person,
Uh-huh.
as a business owner, a parent, whatever. I think that we need to educate other people on what we can do. We're not saying we are the one all be all. We're saying we're sharing our experiences on our lives. And I think that's what people forget, that when you have the platform and people are listening, you need to curate also what's value, right? We don't just speak for the sake of speaking. We speak because we want to give value. And speaking of soar, I was thinking about like soar resilience and, rising through the unknown, like make it, instead of rising, I could do soar, which is struggle. The pain was real, guys. Like, we're going through pain. It's real. The doubt was loud. Like, I doubt myself sometimes, and I have to ask Susanna, I'm like, hey, was I wrong? I'm so like done. This is that, and Susanna's like, no, you're not, right? I'm like, dang, I want to be wrong. Like, that's what I always say. But I showed up anyway, right? That's the S, soar, or rising is struggle. The second one is ownership. I couldn't control what happened, but I could control how I respond. Right? You can't control people's emotions. You can't control people hating you, loving you, caring for you, stalking you. But you can control how you respond. Always that. It's a choice. When people's like, I didn't have a choice. Unless there was a gun put in your head, you had a choice. You choose wrong or you choose right. Whatever your choices are, you have a choice. That's when you unmute by design. You have control. You have the power. Okay. So, yes, you can control how you respond, own it. And then R is resilience. I can be bent, I can be broken, I could be dying, I could be whatever, but I can also rebuild because I'm resilient. Bouncing back is what I do best, what you do best, because you know you can, right? Persistency. You don't need the full 100% courage. You don't need the full 100% confidence. Just take that action, because it's not about failing, like Susanna said. It's about rising every time you do because of that momentum. And the last one is evolution. Once you do all of the struggle, you own it, and you become resilient, you evolve. Susanna always says, I'm not who I used to be, right? I'm not who I was. I'm who I choose to become. The pain changed you. And that's not a bad thing, sister. Because evolution is quite about transformation that you earned in the dark spaces, in that gray zone. But now you're not just surviving. We're going to try to soar, speak up, serve others. What do you think?
Yeah, it's being. I look at this, your struggle to ownership and everything. And a lot of it really comes down to just being your authentic self, being who you are at your core, which is what I talk about all the time. That's why I say I'm not what I used to be, but I'm who I've always been. So that core person has never changed. Everything else around me can change. I can go through changes. It's like we all do. We're all going through changes. But who we are at the core is that's what keeps going on, and that's what allows us to make the changes that we need over time. Yeah, you have all your frameworks. I love it. I was thinking when you first said soar that it was flying, and that's, in this case, it's more like painful. but it can be painful at that point. So definitely there's just so much out there. But moving, we're all going through reinventions of various levels, various types, which is why I say I'm not what I used to be, because I reinvent all kinds of ways. I mean, I just reinvented within the last few months with now teaching. That's a reinvention. Reinventions are going to be at all kinds of levels. Sometimes it's small like that. Sometimes it's total, like what I did a couple years ago, where it's like everything from the past, I'm done, and off we go forward. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm putting it in here for you guys. Sore as in pain, because it is pain. Though it's not always happy moments. But also, what I want to add is that when you are in pain, you look for happy moments, but you sometimes wallow in pain. For some reason, human brain likes to be in pain, right? For some reason, psychologists has been trying to study that for years. And when we are happy, we say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy right now. Everything is, I'm blessed, blah, blah, blah." But then in the back of your head, struggle is going to be coming. Struggle is going to be coming. For some reason, we can't stay in the happy moments of our life, right? Of our lives. So I'd say when you are in happy moments, when you're in the high of life, stay there and don't look for trouble. Stay there and don't be in your subconscious level saying, "Oh, this is going to end and the party's over and it's going to be bad after this." It's because you're already psyching yourself up, and it's things that will happen. Like if you stay positive, that energy stay positive, there's going to be low, yes, but the low is not going to be super low that you can't dig yourself out. Okay, at least keep that, because life is about this. It's never this. It's always up and down, up and down, up and down. But make sure that when you're down, someone digs you out, because sometimes we can't dig ourselves out by ourselves, right? That's the key to that. We met a couple of years ago when you started your channel. I was looking for a job. I went back to teaching because that is where my heart truly was at. I love giving back. Oh, that's right. That's right. That was like what, 3 years ago or 4 years ago. That's right. Definitely want you to come back and see, as an educator, you know, we gravitate. Like a lot of people say, CJ, you could do sales. Like you make good money in sales. A lot of people tell me that. And I'm like, yeah, I do sales, but I like education more because I actually learn more than teaching. I learn from reading, but I also learn from my students' experiences when they do share. I do read a lot, but imagine having your own R&D team every 5 weeks when they do final presentation, when you get to learn deeper about each company that they're researching. Now I have so much in my head. That's the reason why I can write. I can talk about a lot of things, not because I research all of this. My students does it, and I just pay attention. That's it. I just pay attention. So yeah, I love it. Yes, CJ, people think human motivation is based on seeking pleasure, but psychologically, the thing that motivates overall is the relief of pain. It is. It is the relief of pain. Thank you for saying that, Miguel. It is, because pain is not something that we can shut down. It's part of human nature, right? Think of like our emotions are levers. You know, like what is that? I don't really go to bars a lot, but I see them with those little levers thing, like
The one-armed
cold
bandits.
brew, or yeah, like beer or whatever kind of beer. I feel like that is human nature. We have a button for fear, we have a button for happiness and pain. But you know how, like, if your faucet, if you don't tighten it up, it will kind of drip. I feel like the pain in our lives is always dripping. We can never shut it off fully, right? And that actually is not a bad thing. It is actually driving us to relieve ourselves from pain, and we are always looking for something, and that's part of self-actualization. We never stop learning. And if you stop learning and you're just complacent, don't complain about why my life is this way. Your life is that way because you don't want to design it. It's not easy to design it, but it's also not easy to just sit there and complain, and then you're asking why your life is not working out. You got to do something. It's really hard. But if you do one step at a time and not think that you can finish everything all at once, you'll be fine. All right, sister, we are going to be ending this. We won't see you on Thursdays, guys, but we will see you on Sunday. So Sana and I will be on Sunday. And then I'm hoping that we can have 50 inspirational people on Sunday. If not, because it's kind of late on the East Coast, right? But if not, we will be there as well. And on Sunday, it's usually learning a lot. So maybe Susanna will teach us something about her history class that she researched. And we can twist it into Unmute by Design series somehow, right? So we'll go from there. We love you guys. See ya on Sunday. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I started in the silence, behind closed doors. Dreams too loud to keep tucked in the floorboards. Late nights, broke days, no applause in sight. Just coffee, hustling that fire to fight. They said, play small, but I'm built to expand. No silver spoon, just grit in my hand. I will every note, like armor and steel. Visibility's a battle, but I'm real and I heal. From invisible threads to the front of the stage, I'm rewriting the script, turning scars into page. Level up, rise above the fear. Let them hear your voice, make your purpose clear. Every step, every stumble, every tear in the rough. You were made for this moment, you are enough. Level up, break through the doubt. Turn the whispers of your past into a victory shout. You ain't just chasing clout, you're building a legacy. Now the world's gonna see what they couldn't believe. Yeah, yeah. What they couldn't believe. See the back end, just a headline glow. But success is built slow, where the struggle don't show. Algorithms change, but your mission's divine. You're the brand, you're the vision, you're the power behind. You gave free just to prove you have value inside. Now it's invoices paid and your name amplified. You're not just in business, you're changing the game. And your visibility, that's more than a name. No more shrinking, this is expansion. No more asking, this is commanding. You've been the spark, now you're the flame. Entrepreneur by fire, fueled by name. Level up, rise above the fear. Let them hear your voice, make your purpose clear. Every step, every stumble, every tear in the rough. You were made for this moment, you are enough. Level up, break through the doubt. Turn the whispers of your past into a victory shout. You ain't just chasing clout, you're building a legacy. Now the world's gonna see what they couldn't believe. What they couldn't believe. To the late nights, the lost friends, the risks you took, to the brand you built and the space you shook. Here's your crown, your moment, your spotlight beam. You didn't just chase the dream, you became the dream.